Hey everybody, welcome to episode 173 of Is This Thing Working?
Texas Brief.
Please share the Texas Brief with your friends and download the podcast on Spotify or Apple to get instant notifications when we put out the Texas Brief podcast.
Also, the Texas Brief is only for podcast. So we put out this content just for you, and it's a reward for everything that you do for us, for all your sharing and for listening to us every single day. We know you get our notifications, but one of the headlines you might have missed in Texas this week is that Elon Musk is headed to Texas. He's bringing all of his businesses and he's leaving California. If you don't know who Elon Musk is, which everyone does, he's the one that purchased X to help keep free speech free. Why does that bother you?
Everybody knows who fucking Elon Musk is. Everybody fucking knows who Elon Musk is.
Does everybody out there know who Elon Musk is?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
But if there are people out there that absolutely believe that President Trump was not shot, then I do believe there are people out there that do not know who Elon Musk is. I mean,
Right.
just
Good point.
my point there. Anyway, as you can tell, James didn't think I needed to tell you who he was. But anyway, but he has personal frustrations over public school policy in California.
Yeah, and those have seemingly led Elon Musk to announce Tuesday that he is relocating the headquarters of two of the companies that he owns, SpaceX and X, from the Golden State to Texas. Interesting that they use that as a reason. I would think
Yes.
the economics and the regulation. But
Well,
anyway,
you know, he left California, took some of his other stuff from California already. Tesla's
Exactly.
here in Texas
Yeah.
because of the crime.
the economics
And the
yeah,
economics.
and the regulations and everything else. I get it. Yeah. It's just interesting that article said that was the reason.
I know, and it's not, because it goes on to say that Musk posted on X that the Safety Act that was signed by California's Governor Gavin Newsom was the final straw, causing him to move his SpaceX company to Texas. And his statement is, because of this law and the many others that preceded it, attacking both families and companies, SpaceX will now move its headquarters from Hawthorne, California to Starbase, Texas, he posted. Now, I thought that was very interesting because I didn't even know there was a Starbase, Texas, in Texas. The article itself from USA.
Can I Google it and see if it shows up on a map yet?
Hey, yeah, go ahead and do that.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Starbase. Oh, dang, it does. Hold on. Oh, it sure does, man. Look, it sure does.
Wow.
It pins it already.
It already pins it. But, you know, the article goes on and says, where is Starbase, Texas? Well, it is a company town being built about 23 miles from Brownsville in South Texas. Currently houses a landing pad, launch facility, launch control center, and tracking station for SpaceX.
Yeah, it says the aerospace company has been conducting all its Starship test launches from a Boca Chica near the Texas-Mexico border along the coast, and earlier this year it announced a $100 million five-story office there. Construction for that office has already started and is set to be completed by 2025, Texas Department of License and Regulations show.
I thought this was interesting. It says elsewhere, SpaceX already has facilities in Bastrop, where Musk is building the Hyperloop Plaza, which he imagines as a work-live community for his employees. This right there kind of caught my attention because, you know, even James and I, after we read this and we were discussing it, we're like, oh, wow. You know, we wouldn't have to go anywhere, just live in this big, huge building. You work and live. I bet you there's going to be workout places and, you know, restaurants. And what are we always talking about?
Yep, the 15-minute city.
The 15-minute city became 5.
It's what it sounds like, yeah.
It does sound like, but I thought that was interesting to bring up. But what is the California Safety Act?
Since this is what drove him out.
That's exactly right. It limits schools from creating rules that require employees to notify parents of a child's gender identity. Musk, who has 12 children, has been an outspoken critic of California's policies. So there you go. Elon Musk is gone from California.
Yep.
He lost a lot of money right there.
But California is still in the Texas news, as we can see right here. And guys, if y'all remember back in February on our show, we talked quite a bit about the NGOs and all that they were doing here in Texas to help register voters, to bring immigrants into the country, and all the smuggling that was going on. If you remember, we even talked a lot about that. Well, back in February, on February 20th, Ken Paxton announced that he was going to sue to end the NGO's operation in Texas. This is what he said back then. He said the chaos at the southern border created an environment where NGOs funded with taxpayer money from the Biden administration facilitate astonishing horrors, including human smuggling. So he set out to sue the Catholic Charities, Annunciation House, and those people, and he did.
The court dismissed this lawsuit against Annunciation House.
Wow.
Yes, and so Attorney General Paxton is now appealing the dismissal of the lawsuit against Annunciation House for aiding illegal immigration into Texas. And we've discussed this many times on what they're doing. And he's appealing the dismissal of his lawsuit against a non-government organization, Annunciation House, in El Paso, which is accused of facilitating illegal immigrants. In May, Paxton filed for a temporary injunction against Annunciation House to halt its illegal activity by assisting the unlawful entry of illegal aliens into Texas. According to the press release, investigations found that Annunciation House violates the law without any pretense of trying to comply. Additionally, in-court admissions revealed that Annunciation House employees enter Mexico to retrieve aliens, including those denied entry by Border Patrol, to bring them into the United States.
And those are the coyotes.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
And law enforcement is reportedly not allowed to enter Annunciation House so as not to frighten the illegal aliens. I mean, these people are hiding them
exactly
here in America, and there's no way that we can get any information on them whatsoever. And our Texas AG is working real hard to find out what's going on behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And he is so not the only one, because our Representative Chip Roy, he come out strongly against what California is doing right now. Also, they are also flying illegal aliens into Texas to be processed.
From San Diego.
From the San Diego sector.
That's where I mentioned earlier, California is still in the Texas news today.
Yes.
And that's a big problem, as you can see here. You know, we all knew, Ken Paxton knew back in February, that Annunciation House was hiding these people out and smuggling them back and forth around the country. We knew this. It's all been proven. And he sues them. They dismiss it, and now at the moment that they dismiss it, then you begin to find out that, hey, San Diego's flying them in here. This is just insane, man.
Yeah, Representative Roy, he said, it is offensive as a Texan. We've been dealing with the brunt of this for 3.5 years and all prior. And now you got California all too happy to basically go along with the Biden administration's failures and then leaving us holding the bag, and now they want to send us even more. He is reporting that taxpayer-funded flights are reportedly costing approximately $80,000 each. Transport illegal aliens several times a week from California to Laredo and the Rio Grande Valley to be processed by Border Patrol agents for removal. Doesn't this just blow your mind? Don't you remember that Governor Abbott closed and locked off the border? You're not allowed to come across the border. It's dangerous. We put up all this razor wire, da-da-da-da.
And that's what's bad about the dismissal here by the judge about the lawsuit with Annunciation House, is because what they were doing, as soon as he sues them and it looks as though they're going to have to stop and the judge dismisses it, now they're bringing these guys back over here. They say that they're being processed by the Border Patrol agents for removal, but are they really being removed? Because it goes on to say that, however, if illegal aliens qualify for exemption under the Biden administration rules, they fall under the jurisdiction of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and can be eligible for release into Texas if there is a lack of space.
Unbelievable. They're not going to stop. And all the noise that you're hearing behind the scenes, what's going on with, the Democrats and all of their, noise that you hear constantly going on. We have a lot that we really need to be paying attention to. And the border is where we're going to focus on the Texas brief, because it is still happening. And that Kamala Harris showed up in Texas.
The borders are.
The borders are. And you see here that she has done nothing but opened the border as the borders are. But she was in Texas yesterday talking to the AFT Teachers Union. Listen to this segment of Is This Thing Working from yesterday. And the propaganda continues and will continue. And if you notice, it's very bad right now because they're trying to, prop up Kamala Harris. They're trying to prop her up. And, Kamala Harris, she came to Texas, Houston, Texas yesterday. And they were so excited. ABC News 13. I'm just going to let you listen to them. Listen to what they have to say about Kamala Harris coming to Houston.
ABC 13's Liliana Pearson was there this morning in downtown Houston and joins us live with more. Liliana.
Yeah, good evening. We know that inside the room, this was a loud, proud, definitely pro-Harris group. In fact, this was actually the first major union to endorse Harris for president. And we do know that Harris was here today. She was speaking to this national teachers union as their keynote speaker. And in her speech, she reminded people that she's a product of public education and therefore a proponent for protecting it. One of the issues she addressed as a threat to public education is controversial voucher programs. She also spoke out against the controversial act of banning books in schools, a practice we've seen across Texas.
And while you teach students about our nation's past, these extremists attack the freedom to learn and acknowledge our nation's true and full history, including book bans. Book bans in this year of our Lord 2024.
And keep in mind, Harris was here talking about how teachers, school staff, these are people that know what's best for their students and for their classrooms. Meanwhile, going on in the background here in Houston and at HISD is that controversial state takeover of the school districts, where teachers have been telling us they feel like they can't speak up in their classrooms. From downtown, I'm Liliana Pearson, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Well, sure they can't speak up in their classrooms because they don't allow conservatives to speak.
But she told a bunch of lies there, too.
Yes, she did.
Yes, she did. Michael Q. Sullivan of the Texas Scorecard called her out on this, man. Check this out. In his podcast this morning called the Texas Minute.
Speaking at the American Federation of Teachers Conference in Houston this week, Vice President Kamala Harris made a number of spurious claims. Among them were assertions that the Biden-Harris administration has forgiven student loans, that Donald Trump wants to cut Medicare and Social Security, and that conservatives are banning books. The problem for the untested Harris is that now that she's suddenly the Democrats' presidential candidate, people are actually studying her words. Each of Harris's Houston claims have been found to range from being outright fabrications to misrepresentations of fact. For example, Trump has explicitly stated that Medicare and Social Security will be protected by his administration. Similarly, courts have blocked most of the Biden-Harris student loan programs. Harris County Republican Party Chair Cindy Siegel derided the vice president's claims and cited them as, quote, indifference to the real issues Texans are facing.
Ain't it interesting, the difference in the two reportings there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what the propaganda is doing at this point in time. So you really do have to research and find the real news anymore.
Is this thing working?
Rise up.
Well, hey, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've learned some things about what's going on around us in the nation and in your communities. You know, we couldn't do this without your continued support either. We appreciate all of you showing up, taking the time to listen to us today. So please, like I say, make sure to hit the like button, share our show with all your friends. We'll see you next time on Is This Thing Working? And as always, I'm James, and that's my lovely co-host over there,
Denise,
and we'll see you next time.
we're out.